This is Mary. Welcome to the IHC Craft Room.
In today's video, I'm excited to show you how I made these super cute teacup candles just in time for Mother's Day. I've never made candles in anything but a regular candle vessel until now. So this was a lot of fun for me and I can't wait to show you exactly how I did it. And then you can make some just like these for your mom. So grab all your stuff and let's get crafty.
For materials, we'll begin with some Freedom Soy Wax, some Stabilo 20 Wicks, my favorites, Wick Stickums, 2 bone china teacups that I picked up at a local thrift shop called Value Village, 1 30ml Blossom fragrance oil, and a pack of dried rosebuds. And for tools, we'll be using some paper towels, some parchment paper, a kitchen scale, a saucepan as a double boiler, a small pour pot, a pot holder, a temperature gun, a heat gun, wick centering tools, a wick trimming tool, a wood stir stick, and of course some rubber gloves. Let's begin by heating up the water in preparation to melt our wax. Since we're working with unusual vessels this time, I had to figure out the capacity of these cups, and I did that by pouring water into them, measuring the weight, and then doing some candle maker math. So let's review that real quick. We've got 2 teacups, and the target wax fill on each cup is 157 grams based on the water measurements I did earlier. And as usual, I like to do a 10% fragrance load. So I'm going to need 285 grams of wax in total and 30 mils of fragrance oil. While we wait for the wax to melt, let's prep our wicks in our teacup vessels. I'll wipe off the bottom of each wick to make sure there's no debris stuck to it before we peel off the wick stickums and firmly press our wicks down, making sure that they're really well stuck to the wick stickums. Then we're going to eyeball the center of the base of each teacup and place our wick down, making sure to really stick that wick stickum down firmly. And I'm going to use my wood stick to do that because I can't fit my big man hands in these little dainty teacups. And that's it for now. We don't need to measure out our fragrance oil because we're using a 30ml bottle, which is the exact size that we need. And I'm not adding any color, so it's time to just let the wax do its thing. While we do that, let's listen to this beautiful song that was written especially for me by my incredibly talented brother, Carmen Lapano. Check out his website linked in the description. All right, that's enough of that. There's only so much wax melting a girl can watch. It's time to mix in our fragrance oil. After pulling the wax off the heat, the melted wax has a temperature of 192 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to go ahead and mix in the fragrance oil now and give it a really thorough stir to make sure it gets really well blended with the wax. We want to pour Freedom Soy Wax at 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And you probably know by now that if I don't get 160, my candle making experience will be disappointing. So we're going to wait for 160. Yes, we will. Oppa, that's 160. It's time to pour. And it turns out that my little water weighing trick was actually quite accurate. This mixture of wax and fragrance oil filled these vessels to the perfect level. Now let's straighten out these wicks and let these candles cure overnight. But hold on, wait. I think this wick centering tool could really use a dip in the wax. What do you think? Let's just let it drop right in there, okay? There we go, much better. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's set up this wick, shall we? I'm just going to give this wick a little tug and make sure it's nice and straight and then tuck it into the notch at the top of the centering tool. Look at how nice and straight these wicks are. Let's see how these cure overnight. It's now been 24 hours, and it's time to have a look at our candle top. I'm going to trim the wicks down to about 1/4 inch above the wax line. And once again, really smooth, beautiful tops on these candles. Freedom Soy Wax for the win, every time. Now, to continue the theme of something I've never done before, I'm going to add some rosebud petals to the tops of these candles. By using our friend the heat gun, I'm going to melt a layer of wax across the top of each candle and then sprinkle some rosebud petals in there. The trick is to make sure to create a deep enough melt pool that the rose petals can sit inside of. Then you can push them under the surface of the wax using a toothpick so that the petals don't fall off when the wax solidifies. Okay, it's time to light these pretty ladies up and see if my Stabilo 20s were the right choice for these teacups. At the 1 hour mark, I have a substantial melt pool, and we're getting pretty close to the edges. At 2 hours, we're almost at the vessel edge, but not quite. But no worries, because by the 3 hour mark, I have a perfect little melt pool. And let me tell you something, this fragrance is so pretty. I bet my mom would have loved these candles. I miss you, Mama. Thank you for joining me on this thrifty bone china, rose petal strewn, blossom scented teacup candle making adventure for Mother's Day. Mamma mia, that's a lot of flower imagery. If you enjoyed this tutorial from a beginner, say hello in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo!